What makes this Mediation Festival so special is that there are so many of us that have come together because of Evi. It is her inspiration, it is her creation, it is her warmth, and it is her devotion to mediation. I've met Evi in France about a decade ago, and she brings a new vision within the mediation community, and it is an honor to be here and to celebrate in this beautiful place. What makes mediation so magic is that it is like a vessel. It's a process where people can come in and feel safe, and they can talk about the dispute and the conflict that they're in, and they can reveal to one another things that can't always be revealed without a neutral third party. And why that is good for the whole community and for the whole world is that you can resolve your differences with communication. And you can also go deeper because it's not just getting to a settlement. You can talk about transformation and forgiveness. And we'll be talking about forgiveness at the Mediation Festival and the important impact that it has in our world, because then you truly resolve a conflict when you can get beyond the hurt and then go forward. And thank you so much for including me. It's been an honor to be here. Thank you.
Mediation is about connection. For me, mediation was a transformative thing in my life. I used to be a lawyer, but I am not a conflict person. So mediation opened a new window for me in connection, in empathy, better relationships. And I really am grateful for being a mediator in my life now. Evi is an amazing person. I will tell a story, a short story now. When I first wrote my children's book about mediation, The Elephant That Blows Rainbows, I didn't know Evi. And I reached out to her, and she kindly said, yes, I will help you promote the book. And she was so enthusiastic with that, and I owe her a lot. She's amazing, and we thank her for all this that she organized.
I am really grateful for the mediation profession. It turned my life, it makes my life much easier. I mean, just thinking about relationship, positions, alternatives, and to be acting as Mr. Gap Filler, Mr. Problem Solver, facilitating, supporting, enriching, enhancing, acting, listening, all this definitely having its own impact on my personal life and on my career. Additionally, meeting fabulous colleagues of ours and fellows in the river of mediation, that is a gift that nobody can get it from any other elites of the clubs. I am really grateful for mediation in my life.
Second question. What do you think makes this Mediation Festival special?
No doubt, meeting new people, connect, reconnect, doing what I call mind massaging, because you listen, you interact, you unlearn, and you de-learn. All these activities makes this festival unique, and I take this opportunity to really express my unlimited gratitude and thanking for Eva and for all the organizers of this fantastic festival event in this fantastic city, Thessalonica. This is a great chance for all of us to be here. Many thanks for this great opportunity.
Human beings have two great needs, to feel loved and to feel understood. So when mediation comes in, it's all about understanding one another. So it's win-win, and I call it win-win. There are 4 wins. You win, I win, we both win collectively, being together. And then those that are observing this win also by being inspired by our interaction, by finding a common cause.
As an expert on happiness, give us something inspiring for our audience here about happiness.
The most important thing is do not procrastinate your happiness. everybody's waiting for when I have enough money, when I'm in the right relationship, when I'm married, when my kids grow up, forget all the whens. Live your best life now and don't wait for happiness to come. Live it now. Like the great Greek philosopher Aristotle said, happiness is the whole purpose and meaning of life, the whole aim and end of human existence. Phew. Think about what he just said. If it was important 2,500 years ago, how important it is right now.
How has meeting Evi inspired you personally?
I have a question. Does Evi ever sleep? She has this boundless energy. I have never met a person, male or female, that has her energy and enthusiasm. And the only reason why I'm here from the United States to give a keynote in Thessaloniki is because of Evi. She's one of a kind, and I would do anything for her. She's just awesome. And the whole idea is to bring people together from all corners of the world, right? To unite with a common purpose when we communicate, when we listen empathetically and authentically and connect. That's how we create a great world. And I know she's very passionate about it, and so am I, so I'm here to help.
I think mediation is fundamental for enterprises, and my regret is that they have not realized it yet. I tend to consider mediation as a business tool for enterprises. I used to say that in a very simple sentence, it's 6 hours against 6 years. 6 hours in mediation gives you a better result than 6 years in court. So why is it that enterprises have not understood that yet and not made it one of their tools in their toolkit?
Tell us a bit about Evi and her impact on you.
Well, Evi saw us, Adeline, Guylaine and I, performing Stories Mediators Tell at the ICC competition last February, and she was so enthused with our scene that she asked us to do the same at the Mediation Festival. So I guess you'll have to wait until tomorrow to find out her power on us.
Well, I am almost 73 years old, and I've been a mediator for 35 years. I love my work. I'm passionate about it. It's a calling. It's something I do because helping people resolve the most difficult problems really is a work that it's not even work. It's something that I look forward to helping people with. But it's time. There's a generational shift. We need to develop mediators in their 30s and 40s and early 50s to take the next step in mediation. We're going to have the advent of artificial intelligence. The world is going to change, and mediators, young mediators, need to take the ball and run with it. I think mediators like me can be mentors to younger mediators, help give them the knowledge we have. But for young mediators, they need to create their own mediation world. They need to develop and advance it in remarkable ways. As a senior mediator, I'm looking forward to watching what they do because I have a high level of confidence that they'll be wonderful.
How about now you met her?
Okay.
And her work with the Mediation Festival. So, yes, about the Mediation Festival and Evi.
When I heard there was a mediation festival, I'm a child of the 60s. I own 7 guitars, and I thought this would be the Woodstock of mediation. And so the idea that we would come together from different parts of the world, exchange ideas, drink some wonderful Greek wine, get to know each other better, listen to music, and think of ways that we can advance mediation, this has been absolutely spectacular. I can't wait for the next several days.
Quite a bit, actually. It was 46 years ago when I was trained as a mediator, when I was in law school. And so because of that, I moved to Texas and started the first mediation center. And so my entire career, teaching and mediating, that's been my entire career. And then in 1992, I met my husband, Eric Galton, at a mediation conference. We got to yes and got married. We had twin daughters. And so it has impacted my entire personal life as well. And so I've dedicated all this time and want to see mediation grow. And this festival is fantastic in doing just that. So over the years, I believe that while we have reached out in the legal field, we as mediators have not reached out enough to the general public and let people know about mediation. I hope we do more of that in the U.S., but I see this festival as that opportunity. And it's a wonderful opportunity, and more needs to be done in that regard.
Evi and the Mediation Festival. What a treat. What's amazing about this to me is how this has sprung out of sort of a single mind. I guess Nico, her son, and catches the idea of why not do this to try to spread the message of mediation beyond even just here in Thessaloniki, but throughout really all of Greece and beyond. And if you really stop and think about it, we have people, I think we're going to have 80 folks involved in our festival here. They're from at least 4 continents, maybe 5, I'm not sure, but to have brought people in from all over the world to come share their vision and their experiences with mediation in order to give an opportunity for that to be documented and shared further. Frankly, with the hope that in Greece, more and more people will appreciate what mediation can be for them. We call it the dispute resolution revolution, and that's what's trying to catch hold here, and this is going to be a magnificent part of that. Well, I had the opportunity to meet Evi through our World Forum of Mediation Centers, which is a UIA event that goes on every 9 months. And boy, what a vivacious person she is. She brings pure enthusiasm for this process and a sincere desire to share it with people and to help promote it. Not just experience it herself and the benefits for her, but to bring it to everyone else, which I think is really going to be magnificent, is how this is going to help it spread.
Well, I see mediation more as a philosophy on life, and I see it as a bottom-up approach. I think it's the only system that I know, process, that actually gives every person a hearing. So every person has a say. Their say may not become part of the agreement, but they do get a say. So from my perspective, it's the most democratic process in decision making. And I don't see democracy as a political institution with parties. I see it as empowering the individual. And I think the future of mankind will be, especially through the internet, it's going to happen that the person is going to be more empowered. And as people feel more empowered, they will take more responsibility for their life and for what happens with the decisions that they make. So I think that's the significance of mediation, because it's not just about resolving disputes. It is actually literally changing society as well. So it does both at the same time. And I don't know any other process that does that.
Amazing. Tell us a few words about what makes this Mediation Festival special and important, and Evi's contribution.
Well, look, I'm a bit astounded by Evi. I first came in contact with Evi through the internet, when she actually contacted me and asked me if I would actually train some of her mediators in Greece, after we had put in a program in Mongolia where we actually went in and did some family law mediations in Mongolia, and that program is still going. And I don't know whether Evi found out about that or how she did, but she came up, she found out about my thesis, my Reconstructionist model, and she wanted training in that. So I trained them, and I was the keynote speaker at the first Mediation Festival, which I'm very honoured about and very grateful to Evi for. And I was so amazed with her and her incredible enthusiasm and her passion for it all. But she's taken me one step further, because although I believe wholeheartedly that it is a philosophy on life, she's actually put the joy into it. And she's actually made it a fun process as well. so that she's contributed more of the human aspect than any AI could ever do. So it's not just about knowledge, it's about enjoyment, it's about experiencing, and it's about loving the joy of life.
Yeah, thank you for this question. It's crucial, especially in Italy, where my practice is. I'm a mediator since 1997, in Italy and abroad, and mediation is really crucial for this kind of, issues, because when you have problematic issues, when the conflict is high among the parties, you need to try to calm them in a room that is the room of mediation, that is the room of the calm, there is the room without wines, and you can be so relaxing with the parties, so trusty with the parties. So the word we had heard in the room, Dr. Happiness and your mother, Stella, and were really inspiring because mediation is inspiration, is the place of calm. So when there is a conflict that is higher than the other, you can be sure that in a way, in a room, putting all the parties together in a little space, they can be ready to try to start a new voyage, a new way of trying to solve. Naturally, with the filtering of the mediator and with the filtering of their lawyers that will assist them in a correct way. During my panel, in a minute, we will speak about this, how lawyers can be the game changers for mediation, and we will, encounter the problematic things that lawyer thinks that mediation is like going to a tribunal, but it is not like this, and we will encounter the possibility to have some tactics and some methods differently from the assisting clients in judgment before a court, and we will explore this new world, and it will be, I hope, useful for every of us. This festival is really important for me and for all the entire ADR community, because it's not, the same thing of ever, a meeting or a congress. We are feeling more relaxed because we are among friends, and the mediation community is, composed by friends, and this can, you can smell this kind of, happiness and friendships among them. And this unique format, the Mediation Festival, is fantastic to reach this point. So I hope that this festival will be, ongoing, and in the future will be carried on in every other city of Europe, or maybe in the world, because I think this is a correct format. So sometimes you can be formal, sometimes you can be informal, sometimes you can use mixed mode, and this is the right mixed mode to go with all these platea, the professionals. And so I like very much, and thank you for having invited me to this event. Stella he is the key person of the festival, because she was our hub in order to coordinate all the aspects of this festival. So I liked very much her empathy, about empathy you said before. I like her, her smile, and her attitude to problem solving. So that problem solving for mediators is one of the best quality, to think out of the box, to resolve problems when they are arising, not after, but before, if it's possible. So maybe Stella, you can continue to coordinate this kind of festival, even if in other cities of Europe and abroad. And it would be a pleasure if you would like to have a festival in Italy, and I will host you in Rome or in Milan with my company Concilia, and it will be a very great honor to stay with all of you. Thank you again.
Actually, mediation is badly needed now in the Middle East more than any time before. Simply, if we come across historically on the previous events, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, with all the conflicts, we found that most of them ended up after peaceful walks and after peaceful conversations. So, the voice of wisdom confirm that mediation can play an effective role. An example of that, Nelson Mandela in South Africa, after so many years of confrontations with the other party there, they ended up by using mediation in order to fill the gap, and they really found a way forward. Back to the Middle East, I think whatever the time will be taking, months, years and days, the table of negotiations and mediation should be the first resort, not the last resort, simply because coexistence is mediation, collaboration is mediation, relationship is mediation, accepting others is mediation, and even as Nelson Mandela said, in every single impossible, there is a possibility, and that's mediation. The parties in the Middle East, they need to value and understand what mediation can bring. It is life. It is building for the future. It is sharing, caring, and making things much better, even if it comes late, but to be early than to be later. I think the component of culture is very important. No way for a mediator to navigate and reach a settlement agreement between two parties or more belonging to the Middle East without understanding the dynamics of the culture, without understanding that sometimes just the word apology for any harm and with sincere good faith about the apology, it may work. No way to proceed further if the culture is not well understood. And by culture, I mean how people perceive the other party, how people think in their own priority, what is the meaning of harmony for them, what is the meaning of respect, because culture is an integral part of the Middle East, and I think understanding, digesting, and living within the context of the culture may help the mediator to resolve disputes. And if you still remember, in previous cases, all the mediators that manage to find a way forward, they understand the importance and what is the pivotal role of culture plays in getting things, because we have a gap. This gap should be filled sooner or later. In order to be filled, in order to get the two parts into the zone of possible agreement, we need the culture of both parties, respecting the culture and building on the bridging of cultural components in order to have an edifice that can sustain, maintain, and take things from the miserable present into a promising future.
Thank you for asking that. So I started as a young attorney at a big law firm, and the first cases I was sent to do were cases that involved people who had been working with a very dangerous material that's called asbestos. They were in shipbuilding, making brake lining, and asbestos, as it turns out, when people breathe it, becomes toxic. And these people were very sick from it, and they were suing the companies that made the products. And there were many, many companies. So a bunch of lawyers, young lawyers mostly, would drive to near the seaport in New Jersey and would have to interview these parties. So we have something called discovery. So we would do a deposition, which means you ask questions of the people who are suing. So the plaintiff, who is the injured party, we would ask them questions. We were defending against the companies. And these depositions, which is usually they just record it, they just type it, were being videotaped because the people would not be alive for the trial. And they were in a hospital bed in their homes. And so we would show them a book of what our clients, of all the products. And we'd say, do you recognize this product? And if they said, no, I didn't use that product, we would make an application to the court to get out of the case. And I saw all of the attorneys and all of the money that was being spent to defend, and these people were looking just for little money to pay their medical bills and leave something for their family. And right away I said, I can't do this. This is not my kind of work. So when I found mediation, I learned about it maybe a year or so later, and no one heard of mediation. Everyone said, meditation, what's mediation? And probably this happened before you were born, if I think about it. And it's from the time I started mediation, I said I loved it. And eventually I stopped doing any litigation and I only do mediation to help people settle their problems. So that's how I became a mediator. And I met your mother. I met Evi in Paris at the ICC several years ago, and we bonded right away. And she's just an amazing person. We became friends. And even if we didn't speak or see each other, there's just a connection. And there's a connection with mediators in general. You could see the energy here and in the mood and how people interact. But she's a very special person. And she talked about this a year ago that she was going to do it. A lot of people have ideas, but not everyone does it. And she did. And it's a wonderful festival. And she's great. And you're lucky. And she's lucky.
It has changed my life in every way. I go through life now, I think, after being a mediator for so many years, with something that I like to tell my clients and my children, that is a mediation mindset. So instead of approaching things from a conflict perspective, I like to think of it as having a mediation mindset. When you have a mediation mindset, you are able to talk to your children, talk to your parents, talk to your spouse or your significant other with a different perspective. It comes through in every area of your life so that you don't have a negative reaction at things that are coming at you in life. And you think more of listening to someone else's perspective and getting all the information before you react. So I can give you an example. I have 4 sons and they are 16, 18, 20, and 22 right now. So kind of teenage years, college years in the United States. And whenever they come to me with a problem, or I hear something maybe from a teacher, instead of having an instant reaction that's negative, I take the time, which is sometimes still hard, to listen to them and ask them a lot of questions. What happened with this grade? Why did this happen? Why did your teacher contact me? And sometimes, more often than not, having that extra information actually changes my punishment or my reaction, or even whether or not that actually happened. So I think going through life as a mediator with a mediation mindset is something that I have learned over the years, and it bleeds over into my profession, so that now even in litigation, because I still do work as an attorney, I approach the other side with a mediation mindset. How can I listen to the other attorney on the other side, or how can I get my client to listen better?
Wow, thank you. That was amazing. And tell us a little bit about Evi.
Evi, the beautiful, wonderful Evi. Evi has such a good heart for mediation. I like to call myself a mediation pioneer, and I believe that she is also a mediation pioneer. She exudes thoughtfulness, happiness. She has a passion for mediation that shows through. And even if you met her and you didn't know she was a mediator, you would know there's something different about this person. There's something different about the way she approaches problems, the way she listens, the way she communicates, the way she interacts with people. And I believe that she is an amazing ambassador for mediation all across the world. I've loved seeing her internationally, speaking at conferences, seeing her and seeing how much everyone respects her.
Okay, well, excellent question. And I think that the people in the Middle East, all around the borders, deserve good life, quality of life, peace and quiet. And for that, we need a good resolution, comprehensive, wide solutions that will bring prosperity to the region. And how we do it? Well, we can definitely use mediation skills. We as mediators, what we are doing every day in the mediation room whilst mediating commercial disputes, we have to locate all the stakeholders and harness them into the project. We want to have a fair and equal process. We want to make sure that all the parties have a voice, a choice, and an opportunity within the process. We want to be taking the process forward, even though at some points, it looks that it's not going anywhere. A good mediator is not afraid of deadlocks. A deadlock is an opportunity to find a better way to assist the parties. And all these skills are very relevant for the Middle East. I would say that a diplomatic mediation and a commercial one, is a bit different. It has the similarities of what I was just mentioning, but still, for diplomatic mediations, it's usually not one mediator, it's a mediation envoy. And unlike mediation, where the mediator should be completely impartial, in most diplomatic mediation envoys, the mediators are also interested, have some interests in the region. I think that when you choose who is part of the envoy, of course, there is place for all the diplomats, for the representatives of the relevant countries, but using the skills of professional mediators is very, very good, very, very needed, and can make the difference between a resolution, a comprehensive and wide, with smart solutions, and between a no-go. So there are so many good forces in the world, excellent mediators that can contribute to the any envoy that is being working in the Middle East or regarding any other conflict in the world.
Two things, or at least two. One, Evi Avlogiari, and her energy, it's just unbelievable. She approached me in February at the ICC competition in Paris, and I would not believe that this would come to reality. But she managed to do it. And the second reason is, of course, the real star of this festival, the city of Thessaloniki, which is the city of my ancestors, and I was not given a chance to come before. Now, this festival has been very well planned, in that sense that in a very short period of time, we've been able to touch on very serious subjects together, whether peer mediation, leveraging your emotion, what is the future ahead of us, and what we, the community of mediators, can do for that. It was very exciting. Find old friends, make new friends, realize how this community is important, and again, the personality of Evi and the work she has done for this festival.
The Mediation Festival has international aspects. Different experiences were heard from mediators from many countries, or better, from many continents. This is not something that we can often be part of. And I hope we have a third Mediation Festival soon. Ms. Avlogiari has been a trainer for me, but most importantly, she has inspired me regarding this mediation journey.